Although the concept of civilization should include any society that contains cities, many Americans and Europeans have been used to the idea that civilization is their unique possession. Hi, I'm Carl Ernst, Professor of Religious Studies at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Looking around at this exhibit of the arts of the Silk Road here at UNC's Ackland Art Museum, you can see the vital connections that link civilizations together. Through the study of history, you'll have the chance to see that Islamic civilization shares the same roots as Western civilization.
There are those who argue that the nature of different civilizations makes conflict inevitable, but historians recognize that civilizations change over time and are quite complex, containing many different ethnic groups and religious minorities. This is certainly true of Islamic civilization. Since the time of the Prophet Muhammad, there have been many political regimes led by Muslims. These range from the Empire of the Caliphate to the Safavids in Persia, the Mughals in India, and the Ottomans in Turkey. All of these empires were based on pre-Islamic kingship. They also included local customs and traditions of Greek, Persian, or Indian origin, so there was much in these empires that was not particularly Islamic. Accordingly, it makes no sense to speak of a Muslim world as if there were a separate planet inhabited only by Muslims. Sharia comprises a wide range of ritual practices, ethical standards, and legal procedures designed to regulate personal, family, and social life. Sharia did not apply to non-Muslims who had their own legal systems. Some authoritarian activists today claim to be applying Sharia by enforcing a few harsh medieval punishments. But for most Muslims, Sharia is an ethical concept similar to Catholic or Jewish religious regulations. Unlike Christian Europe, Muslim societies officially recognize the religious rights of minorities. Although the Quran's religious perspective disagrees with certain key Christian doctrines, it also recognizes the legitimacy of the people of the book. The expansion of the Arab Caliphate was basically like any other empire, and the Arabs were content to deal with existing religious groups with no thought of encouraging conversion to Islam. Shi'is disagree with Sunnis because they regard Muhammad's cousin and son-in-law Ali and his descendants as the rightful imams or religious leaders. These imams are considered martyrs who were persecuted by unjust tyrants. Shi'is are probably about 15% of the world Muslim population today. Muslim and non-Muslim scholars together made major advancements over the scientific and intellectual achievements of the Greeks and Persians. Hospitals and observatories, supported by Muslim rulers, carried out original medical and scientific research. The great Persian physician and philosopher Ibn Sina wrote on Aristotle's philosophy, and his medical encyclopedia was used in Europe up to the 17th century. Out of the immense literatures of poetry and prose available in Arabic, Persian, Turkish, and other languages, only a few isolated works like the Arabian Nights are generally known to Europeans and Americans. There is likewise a vast tradition of the visual arts and architecture, including painting and rich musical traditions of different regions. Muslims who sought a closer connection to God often followed spiritual leaders called Sufis, recognized as saints who were honored with shrines that often attracted devotees in large numbers. To this day, Sufis perform intensive spiritual practices such as listening to music and the meditative dance of the whirling dervishes.
We may indeed speak of Islamic civilization, but Islam is not monolithic. The ethnic, cultural, and political differences between Muslims make it impossible to conceive of a unified Muslim response to global issues. The diverse history of Islamic civilization does indicate a large capacity to absorb pluralism and multiple points of view, which remain accessible today to Muslims and non-Muslims.